I'm Allyson, and I'm an advisory librarian at Skokie Public Library.
And hi, I'm Becca. I'm the supervisor of advisory services, also at Skokie Public Library, and we are excited to be with you once again for book chat. Today, joining us for book chat is Mimosa and Tiffany, and they're both going to be sharing books that they've been reading and enjoying. So I am going to send it off right now to Tiffany.
Hello, my name is Tiffany. I'm the communications coordinator at Skokie Public Library. Today I'm going to be talking about The Right Swipe by Alisha Rai. So let's get started. What happens when you have an unforgettable date with someone and then they ghost you? Do you give them a second chance? That is the question that Rhiannon Hunter, the founder of a dating app, must ask herself when Samson Lima, her unforgettable one-night stand, comes back into her life as the spokesperson for her top dating app competitor. If this romance book had a Facebook relationship status, it would definitely be, it's complicated, but worth it. Rhiannon is admirable and Samson is really endearing. This book is very relatable for people who use dating apps or date generally in the modern world. It's hard not to root for both of these characters in this modern love story. All right, let's hear what Mimosa has to say.
Hi, I'm Mimosa, and I am the Adult Program Coordinator for the library. Today, I am going to talk with you about New Waves by Kevin Nguyen. Circle back to 2009. Did you own a flip phone or a smartphone? Did you even know what a meme was? What was the world like before everything went online all the time? Kevin Nguyen's debut novel was the second book I finished after Shelter in Place started. It stirred both feelings of nostalgia and cynicism for me. Lucas is a 23-year-old Asian American customer service rep. He's charged with reviewing and moderating messages for a startup messaging company called Nimbus, hearkening to the clouds, of course, because all tech is really just a metaphor for all the ex-bros could never wind up with in bed. Margot is a Black 20-something engineer at the same company. Tired of the endless micro and macroaggressions that they have to put up with, they make a rash decision after a drunken evening and decide to steal usernames and passwords of Nimbus users. The next morning, Margot asks Lucas to forget it ever happened. Fast forward a year later, and Margot dies mysteriously in a car accident. Following her funeral, Margot's mom asked Lucas to effectively sunset Margot's Facebook account, leading Lucas to steal her laptop and find out that he never really truly knew Margot. Digging through Margot's files, Lucas eventually meets Jill, an aspiring sci-fi novelist who also thought she knew Margot, and then there comes more. Reading this book felt like an artifact of what it might have been like before we all became extremely online. Like Lucas, I was once a customer service rep, and I was charged with reviewing highly confidential messages for a corporate client. And while the plot doesn't explode or take a surprising turn, the pacing is deliberate. Lucas and Jill are able to connect because they find entirely new parts of their friend that were submerged during Margot's lifetime. If you're looking for a contemporary, caustic, and at times hopeful take on what it means to be connected in a physically distanced world, then this book is for you. It's available as an ebook and e-audiobook on Libby Overdrive. And now I'm going to give it over to Allyson.
Thanks, Mimosa. I have been looking forward to reading that one, and that just makes me want to read it even more. I am very excited to introduce you all to Good Riddance by Elinor Lipman. Full disclosure, I haven't actually read this one yet, but it's our May Lit Lounge book, and I am so excited about it. The New York Times describes it as a caper novel, light as a feather and effortlessly charming. It will not save lives or enrich them in any enduring way, but the book inspires a very specific kind of modern joy. So knowing what the New York Times thinks about it, this is the description of the book. Daphne Matrich inherits a high school yearbook from 1968 from her late mother. Here's the thing. The yearbook is heavily annotated and is dedicated to her mother. Weird, but Daphne doesn't think so and decides that the yearbook doesn't spark joy, so she chucks it and is done with it until a busybody neighbor who happens to be a documentary filmmaker finds it and ends up entangling Daphne in a series of mysteries and events, both poignant and absurd. And I am so excited to start reading it. If you decide to read it and you want to talk about it, join us for Lit Lounge on May 13th at 7:30 p.m. You can find the registration below in the links. And with that, over to Becca.
Thanks, Allyson. Well, I have read Good Riddance, and it's fabulous. So I'm really excited for you all to discuss it in Lit Lounge. I think it's going to be a great, fun, for this time kind of discussion. So also apt for this time, I read Sourdough by Rebecca Sloan. So it might not be Severance or it might not be Station 11, but if you are on social media at all, you've probably seen someone in your life decide that they're a baker and take up making sourdough. You may have even seen some, sourdough starters going through the mail. And that's kind of what happens in this novel. The main character is not a baker by any stretch of the imagination. She is an engineer. She works with robots. She's moved to San Francisco to take a job, and her entire life is her job. So the one reprieve she gets is every night she comes home and she orders dinner from a local place that has lovely spicy soup, and all orders come with a slice of sourdough. When the two owners of the restaurant have to leave the country because their visas have expired, they entrust their sourdough starter to the main character, and she doesn't quite know what to do with it. This book, while on the surface, you might not feel like you would have any sort of place in your heart to feel any sort of feelings toward a sourdough starter, this book will show you differently. It's magical realism. It's definitely a look at kind of the relationship that we have. It's almost a fairy tale kind of a thing when the relationship we have with technology versus like present creation. And I just think it's super relevant to this day and age with all of the sourdough baking that has been happening. It's been on my to-read list for a few years now, and I'm so glad that I finally made the time to read it. It is available as both print and audio through Libby Overdrive.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Becca, and for Tiffany and Mimosa for joining us and sharing books that they're enjoying and have read recently. You can find the links to these titles down below, and if you'd like help accessing these titles or any of the thousands of other titles available on Hoopla or Overdrive Libby, check out our website or please email us at matchmanagers@skokielibrary.info. Stay safe out there and know that we all miss you so much. We can't wait till we're all back together again. But until then, happy reading. Bye.